2 kids got killed at the school in Chicago. Nobody knew who did it. I'm talking about the next 40 minutes, you will see Lil Jeff emerge on Instagram, YouTube, and that I did it. You know? Like, it's crazy, man.
Trench News wasn't lying. Lil Jeff was out here straight up admitting to bodies. His name kept coming up in shootings, robberies, all of it. And yet somehow, he always walked free. Now, word on the street is, Lil Jeff had a deal with the feds, and a police officer is finally coming forward with the truth. Let's just say, Lil Jeff might not be who we thought he was. Let me explain. The come-up and street cred of Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Born Jeffrey Lamar Harris Jr. on July 14, 2002, Bloodhound Lil Jeff was moving and shaking in Chicago's drill scene before his life got cut short on June 8, 2024. At just 21, Lil Homie got hit up in a shooting that many saw coming based on how he was moving in these streets and what he was spitting in his tracks. For them who ain't hip to Chicago's drill scene, this ain't your regular rap. This that real-life soundtrack where your bars better match your actual body count. And in this world, Lil Jeff was the real deal, no cap. According to multiple sources, this man allegedly claimed responsibility for putting 11 ops in the dirt, numbers so crazy that Hood Reddit was calling him J-Roy, like he was the second coming of King Von.
Reputation has always mattered in hip-hop. If you say something, there's a sense that you need to be able to say it verifiably, but it seems like this is only unique to rappers.
But who was Lil Jeff beyond them headlines and street legends? Young Blood was from 79th Street and Maryland Avenue on Chicago's east side, Block Disciples territory for them who know. He was reppin' Bloodhound Gang, also known as Bloodhound 079, which ran that area heavy. The set was formed back in 2015, coming out of other gangs called Brain Dead and Drill City 079. According to his day ones, Jeff was dreaming about hooping before he fully dove into that gang life. His homie JB Bin Laden was telling stories about how Jeff was always on some slick even as a shorty, excelling at whatever he put his mind to.
Did you meet Lil Jeff?
I really like his big brother. That's one of my best friends for real. I know him since he was like really like 6, 7.
What's he like growing up as a kid?
I was a badass little kid for real. He's a sneaky badass little kid, you know, bro. He be like sneaky bad. Everything he did for real, he excelled in.
Word is, Jeff started going hard in them streets after his hoop dreams ain't pan out. By 18, he went all in with the Bloodhound crew, quickly building a rep for being bout that action. In them trenches, that kind of energy gets you put on fast, and Jeff was climbing them gang ranks quicker than most. What made Lil Jeff different from other hood stars was how he moved on social media. Most street dudes keep it low-key, but Jeff was out here flexing heavy, practically self-snitching on IG and Twitter. Mans would drop cryptic posts that everybody in the streets knew was about specific drills he allegedly ran. In them interviews, Jeff kept it mysterious, but was still dropping hints about his street activities. When DJ UTV tried to get him to speak on his alleged scoreboard, he played it cool while still feeding into the mystique that was making his name hot.
Can you start by telling us where you from?
Chicago, you know, east side of Chicago. East side of Chicago.
The real turning point in Jeff's street career came after his man Z Money got knocked off. According to them who know, this body shattered a 10-year peace treaty between Bloodhound and Trap City, setting off an all-out war that would define Jeff's final chapter. What followed was straight wartime activity, a series of getbacks that escalated the violence to levels even Chicago wasn't ready for. The beef between Bloodhound and rival sets like BKN, Trap City, 800, and a Trey Mob was heating up, with Jeff allegedly putting in major work. One of the most talked about hits attributed to Jeff was the smoke of a dude named Leal from Trap City. In June 2023, Leal was reportedly in a whip on the 1300 block of West Taylor in Little Italy when Bloodhound members allegedly pulled up and let that thing sing, leaving him DOA at the hospital.
I was running stop signs at intersections to get away. So at one intersection, I had to stop because there was a car coming through, and then I turned to him and said, "Hey, I'm going to take you to the hospital." And he said, "Okay."
Even though no arrests were officially made, Jeff supposedly hit the socials right after to claim his work without saying it directly. This pattern of alleged drilling followed by thinly veiled social media flexes became Jeff's signature move, building his street cred while also painting a target on his back. But the most controversial body count attributed to Jeff was the January 26, 2024, double homicide of 2 high school students, 17-year-old Monterio Monty Williams and 16-year-old Robert Lil Rob Boston, both allegedly claiming BKN.
Under this CTA elevated platform near Wabash and Washington in the Loop, where police say 2 teen boys, a 16 and 17-year-old, both students at Innovations High School, were shot and killed. Fear piercing through the busy midday.
We supposed to get out of that for 12:50, and then they started shooting. They was like, "Can't nobody go in? Can't nobody come out?"
It happened shortly before 12:30 this afternoon. Police say 6 students were walking out of the school after classes were dismissed when a car and SUV, both dark in color, pulled up.
This daytime hit outside Innovations High School. The whole city shook, not just for how bold it was, because the victims were straight kids. According to reports, masked shooters pulled up on a group of students, with Monty and Lil Rob catching fatal chest shots. Even though 12 never publicly named Jeff as a suspect, his social media activity and lyrics had internet detectives connecting dots like crazy. In one track dropped after the incident, Jeff allegedly referenced turning Za into Za, apparently talking about Monty, who also went by Za. His rap career, though short, was fueled by his street reputation. Tracks like Can't Beat Us and his mixtape Stepping in Blood were blowing up not just for the beats, but because everybody knew Jeff wasn't cap rapping. He was documenting real life. As Jeff's clout grew in both the music scene and the streets, he started connecting with industry heavyweights. His biggest link-up was with drill pioneer Lil Che, who apparently reached out to Jeff personally, took him under his wing.
Okay, so this project got some features on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest is Lil TJ.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you guys link up?
He reached out to me, basically, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know what I'm saying, we locked it in. Ever since then, he kind of like showed that he cared about it. You know what I'm saying? Told me about the ins and outs of this, told me what to watch out for, told me what to look forward to. I kind of like looked at him as like a brother at that point, he kind of like a, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, that's my big brother, you know what I'm saying? I got real love for brothers.
Despite starting to blow up musically and linking with established artists, Jeff wasn't trying to leave them trenches. Unlike many rappers who get some bread and bounce from the hood, Jeff was standing on business in Chicago, even as his profile and the target on his back kept growing.
Then you want to stay?
I love the rap and Boston. I'm gonna move one day though, but not right now.
Yeah.
I got it going on.
This decision to stay in the mix when he had the paper to relocate had a lot of people scratching their heads. But for Jeff, the war he was in wasn't something he could just walk away from. Chicago rapper F.B.G. Young broke it down, explaining why so many young dudes get caught in these cycles.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So they don't really know, like, a lot of things can affect you with going that route, especially when you ain't got everything taken care of already.
The toll of this street life was obvious in how Jeff was moving. In one wild moment during a DJU interview, Mans was caught on camera snorting a perk, showing he was self-medicating to handle all the trauma and pressure of his lifestyle.
At one point, he was even seen snorting a perk mid-interview.
Now I see you over there getting something together.
This ain't about attention.
Even with OGs like DJU trying to give game and point him in a different direction, Jeff seemed like he already accepted his fate. He spoke real talk about the cycle of violence he was caught in, acknowledging that it would likely end with him getting knocked or stretched, a prophecy that sadly played out sooner than anybody expected. But what most people didn't know was that behind the scenes, the feds were supposedly keeping tabs on Bloodhound Lil Jeff. As his rap sheet and alleged body count grew, and his social media flexing became more brazen, the FBI allegedly started building a case against him. The alleged Fed investigation and the real deal behind the rumors. According to multiple sources, including a YouTube video titled Feds was investigating Bloodhound Lil Jeff for drug trafficking and murders from January 28, 2025. Federal authorities were indeed building a case on Jeff before his death on June 8, 2024. Word is the FBI was looking at Jeff for drug trafficking and them bodies he allegedly caught. Given Jeff's own social media activity and lyrics that were practically confession statements, this federal heat isn't shocking. The Feds stay watching high-profile gang members, especially ones who broadcast their dirt online. Throughout his short career, Jeff stayed openly defiant toward law enforcement. In interviews and on socials, he showed zero indication he would ever cooperate with police or federal agents. In fact, Jeff's lifestyle choices suggest the complete opposite. His decision to stay in Chicago, despite the heat coming his way, his continued association with known gang members, and his increasingly bold social media presence all point to someone who definitely wasn't working with 12. A snitch typically moves ghost, exactly the opposite of Jeff's very public persona. What we do know is that Jeff was a subject of intense interest both during his life and after his death. His provocative style and the extreme content of his music made him a polarizing figure whose every move was analyzed by fans and haters alike. When looking at claims about FBI involvement, it's worth considering the broader pattern of federal cases against Chicago drill rappers. Artists like Lil Durk have faced federal investigations, with charges stemming from alleged gang activities. These cases typically involve extensive surveillance, cooperating witnesses, and evidence gathering over many months.
Somebody kill somebody, everybody got family, somebody relate to him or somebody cool with him, you kill him. Now everybody that he was close with is trying to kill you. It's a never ending. Or they gonna kill, let's kill somebody close to him.
Right. Hey, how does that end? How y'all stop that?
It don't stop. It's to everybody, all the people that playing the game. Gone.
This context matters because it shows that federal agencies definitely take interest in figures from the drill scene, especially those who might be involved in criminal enterprises beyond their music. Jeff's alleged involvement in multiple bodies and possible connections to drug trafficking would certainly have put him on the Fed's radar. A Reddit post where someone mentioned an anonymous tip sent to the FBI about Trap City, a group associated with Lil Jeff. According to this post, someone alleged that Trap City was running a drug operation.
Like, it's up out here, man. Like, on some real Kim. Like, Shorty was on to something, man.
The reality of Jeff's FBI connections, or lack thereof, doesn't change the tragedy of his story. Here was a young blood with obvious charisma and talent who, according to them who knew him, could have had a promising future in music. Instead, he got caught up in a cycle of violence that ultimately took his life when most people are just starting to figure out adulthood. The reactions to Jeff's death from fellow artists in Chicago's drill scene were mixed. Some, like FBG Buddha, expressed genuine sadness at losing a talented young artist with potential.
Like, I had sent his video to my little lady, like, cause he reminded me so much of Trigger Shorty that I was like, yeah, Shorty gonna be something, you know what I'm saying? You know, I seen it. Shorty was a real star, just like, and that's what I mean when I be like, all right, we gotta start doing this for kids, because had Shorty had the right guidance in his life, right? No bull, he wouldn't have been out there sliding doing no hit game. He the bag.
Others saw his death as the inevitable consequence of the life he chose, the harsh reality of the streets where violence breeds more violence in a never-ending cycle. The fatal hit, aftermath, and the legacy of Bloodhound Lil Jeff. On June 8, 2024, around 5:14 p.m., shots rang out on the 6600 block of South Rhodes Avenue in Chicago. When the smoke cleared, a young man was laid out on the pavement with fatal wounds. That man was 21-year-old Jeffrey Lamar Harris Jr., known in them streets as Bloodhound Lil Jeff. According to reports, Jeff caught multiple shots to the chest. Some sources say he was hit 12 to 15 times, while others claim the number was as high as 19. He got rushed to a nearby hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. The crime scene was a mess, with police finding around 45 shell casings and a crashed Hyundai Santa Fe. The high shell count suggests multiple shooters were involved in what looks like a coordinated hit. Soon after the shooting, footage of the incident started circulating on social media. The video, reportedly captured by a Ring doorbell camera in the area, showed Jeff in his final moments. This graphic content going viral added another level of tragedy to an already devastating situation.
And in this video, you can see him going after them and then getting hit, man. Was it surprising to actually see the video of this so quick?
Yeah, they dropped that video quick, but you gotta understand, bro. You know, one of them neighbors leaked that shit's off a Ring camera. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
The details around Jeff's death remain somewhat unclear, with different stories emerging afterward. According to one widely shared account, the fatal shooting happened when Jeff stepped into Trap City territory, op block for anybody claiming Bloodhound. Reports suggest he was trying to run a drill when he got ambushed and fatally hit. Another story, shared by Chicago street figure Trenches News in a Vlad TV interview, claimed that Jeff was killed over beef involving a fake chain, a seemingly minor conflict that escalated to deadly violence, as often happens in environments where respect and reputation are everything. A third account, which matches the video footage that went viral, suggests that Jeff was chasing someone and ran into a house on op territory, possibly trying to get at a rival named Trap City Rob. According to this version, Jeff then got caught in an ambush by multiple individuals who were waiting outside.
And you see him run down and chase the guy in the house, and then you see him flying back off the porch, and then you hear do 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 do.
Right after the shooting, no suspects got locked up. The investigation into Jeff's death seemed to hit a wall, with no official updates on arrests or charges coming out publicly. This lack of resolution is common in gang-related cases, where witnesses typically refuse to cooperate with 12. However, according to some sources, a dude identified as Trap City Rob was later picked up in connection with the murder after a witness allegedly placed him at the scene. Reports claim that because of Rob's size, police had to use 2 sets of cues during his arrest. Despite this, Rob was eventually released, supposedly due to insufficient evidence to bring charges.
They let out the wrong people, you know, and it's just crazy, man. But Rob, he's still up in there. He's still up in there. He got charged with the murder. of Lil Jeff.
The reaction to Jeff's death within Chicago's drill community was mad complex. For his ops and rivals, especially those affiliated with sets like Trap City and BKN, his death was reportedly celebrated as get back for his alleged role in previous shootings. Social media posts and videos showing people turning up at the news of his passing went viral, highlighting the cold reality of a gang beef where one person's tragedy is another's victory.
Bro, I gave you that. Yeah. I gave you that. I bet. I'll bet right now.
For Jeff's homies, family, and fellow Bloodhound members, his death was devastating. His parents' reactions, as reported by FBG Buddha, showed the complicated legacy of a young man whose life choices had far-reaching consequences.
Did y'all see his daddy? Did y'all see what his daddy posted after he died? I mean, granted, you know what I'm saying? Any parent gonna lash out like after your child died and trolling him, and you know what I'm saying? But at some point, gang, you know what I'm saying? On some real he's supposed to been able to stop. He should have been at his son's life, gang, you know?
Beyond his immediate circle, Jeff's death sent shockwaves through the broader drill scene in Chicago. Fellow artists like Da Tweaker, _LilScoom89 on Instagram, and AMF.Visuals, who had worked with Jay on tracks like Ah, posted tributes on social media, highlighting his impact on the local music scene despite his short career. Perhaps the most tragic aftermath of Jeff's death was what happened to one of his closest homies and collaborators, Lil Scoom89. In a heartfelt tribute post after Jeff got killed, Scoom wrote, "I love you, I'ma be with you real soon." Words that would turn out prophetic in the most devastating way. Just 1 month after Jeff's death, Lil Scoom89 was also hit in a shooting while getting a haircut. The back-to-back losses of these young artists highlighted the grim reality of Chicago's gang conflicts, where violence often claims multiple lives in quick succession as retaliatory hits spiral out of control. The deaths of Jeff and Scoom, along with Philadelphia rapper YBC Dull, who got smoked in the same summer, created a shocking moment in drill music history. In a surreal and tragic coincidence, all three artists had collaborated on a track called Long Live Jeffrey Dahmer, and within months of the video dropping on YouTube, all three were gone.
Now 7 months on from those visuals going live on YouTube, every single one of these artists has passed on. With the story of Lil Jeff, you see where the worlds of rap and the streets get far too entangled. These days, the more real-life dirt you've done, the more it boosts your career.
The quick succession of these deaths left a major void in the drill scene and hit hard for those who knew these young men personally. One such person was Jeff's fellow Bloodhound member Q50, who had made music with Jeff and allegedly participated in some of the same street activities. In an emotional interview following the deaths of his homies, Q50 expressed how deeply these losses affected him.
Alright, so I ain't gonna lie. When I lost my big brother, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep this shit buck. Cause I ain't no more, you know, I ain't no line shit. That's my big brother. That's my everyday. We the same brain. We think like, you know what I'm saying? We do everything together.
Q50 revealed that after Scoom got hit, which came just a month after Jeff's death, he was so emotionally crushed that his homies had to step in to help him cope with the trauma.
I ain't gonna lie, I had to take a minute, like, you know what I'm saying? My big brothers, they had ended up just putting me where, like, not no hospital, nothing. They just put me in a different spot so I could get my mind straight and don't move off emotion.
The emotional toll of these losses goes beyond personal grief to highlight a bigger issue in communities locked in cycles of violence. The pattern of get back that claimed these young lives continues to affect countless others in similar situations across Chicago and other cities where gang beef is a way of life. Since Jeff got smoked, his story has evolved in multiple directions. On Reddit and other platforms, especially in communities focused on Chicago drill, Jeff has been both vilified and glorified. Some online communities even created what they call Jeffology, detailed breakdowns of his alleged bodies, social media posts, and lyrics that try to piece together a full picture of his activities. The violence that took Jeff's life wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a larger pattern of conflict in Chicago that has claimed thousands of lives over the years. According to one report, more than 4,098 Chicagoans were killed in gang-related violence over a 20-year period, with gang-related homicides accounting for 61% of all murders in the city during certain years. What makes Jeff's story particularly noteworthy is how it connects with the drill music scene, where art and life blend in ways that can have deadly consequences. Chicago rapper Tay Savage expressed concerns about this trend in an interview, criticizing the practice of self-snitching on social media and in music.
But it's not really, okay.
You selling your soul, trying to hope a label gonna catch you or something. Like, now it's cool, like, okay, I can get you probably, like you say, it's art. So I can get you maybe.
The cautionary perspective offered by OGs like Tay Savage and FBG Buddha shows an alternative path that could could have been available for talented young artists like Jeff. With proper guidance and support, many believe Jeff could have channeled his charisma and creativity into a successful music career without staying caught up in street beef.
He the bag. He the breadwinner. He's supposed to be the bread ambassador. Like, his crowd, like, should nobody, man, they supposed to be on his ass. Boy, hey, chill the f out. Chill.
For those who knew Jeff personally, like his childhood friend JB Bin Laden, his death represents not just the loss of a rising star, but of a person they watched grow up, a sneaky badass little kid who never got the chance to fully mature into adulthood.
Oh, bro, he be like sneaky bad. Everything he did for real, he excelled in it.
You got funny little Jeff stories?
This one when he was a little kid.
The danger that claimed Jeff's life continues to threaten others in his circle. JB Bin Laden and his crew narrowly escaped an ambush at a recording studio months after Jeff's death, an attack that injured 4 people and was captured on camera during the filming of a documentary. This incident underscores the ongoing nature of the conflicts that defined Jeff's short life. Jeff's legacy lives on in his music, in the memories of those who knew him, and in the cautionary tale his life represents for others walking similar paths. Whether that legacy ultimately serves as a warning or, unfortunately, as inspiration for more violence, depends largely on how his story is told and understood. If you enjoyed watching this video, then go ahead and click on any of the cards on your screen for more.